Alvin, first, detail for me the circumstances that led to your interest in NASCAR and your attendance at the race today.
So really, initially, Bubba used to always come up to Tennessee when I was in school at Tennessee. So I kind of was familiar with it for a little bit before, the obvious circumstances that took place now, with him kind of making that stand and then NASCAR eliminating the Confederate flag. But, it's one of those sports where I didn't too much about it. And, I would flip it on and, kind of watch for a little bit and just be confused and, kind of like switch it off. But being here today, like I'm learning a lot, and it's definitely like a different experience in person.
It's a lot to take in the first time. I remember, man, it's a whole lot to take in. You noted the decision on the Confederate flag. What was your perception of NASCAR before they decided to ban the Confederate flag, and what is your perception of NASCAR now that they did?
Man, I was talking to some people earlier, and honestly, I didn't know how deeply rooted the Confederate flag was, like within the actual sport. Like, I didn't know that it was branded just like so openly, just around these events and these tracks and things like that. So, not knowing before and then seeing what they did after, with the history of the sport and it being, rooted in the sport, it's amazing. I talked to Steve Phelps earlier, and like just with them being able to, I guess, step away from that, that's a huge step in flipping the script and to just rewriting the narrative on what this sport is and what it stands for.
This might be redundant, so forgive me. What role did that decision play in you being there today and engaging in the sport?
Well, honestly, I've never really had an opportunity to come to a race at all. So, this is an opportunity that I was going to take advantage of for sure. But, that's just icing on the cake, with where the world is right now and what's going on. And, it's just, it's even more of a I would say, like, even more of a blessing to be able to be here and soak this up and what it means to so many people. I mean, there's obviously some people that are against that decision of removing the flag, and I think there's way more people that are for that decision, because I think there's a certain stigma on the type of fans that support this sport. And there's some bad ones, and I don't think the bad ones represent all of the good ones.
I see you're wearing Bubba gear, you're repping your guy, and I know you guys have a relationship from back in your days in Knoxville. How would you describe what he's done during this movement over the last couple of weeks for NASCAR and what he's carried and his courage?
Yeah, I think you said it right there. I mean, courage. Just being able to be so secure in yourself to be able to stand out on the front line. I mean, being the only African American driver, not afraid to stand up for what's right. I think it says a lot about his character. And then before he's getting from other drivers that maybe was comfortable speaking out before this time, they have kind of like a platform, coming up behind Bubba to be able to speak their mind, whether, they get backlash from other guys or if they, get backlash from the community. I mean, it's just what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And, Bubba's I think he's a testament to that.
Kneeling during the national anthem, obviously a hot topic ever since Cap, but now with this current movement, a lot of your peers are discussing that. NASCAR official Kirk Price at Atlanta, he knelt, and he's a veteran. Mm-hmm. So I wonder, Alvin, what's your stance on kneeling during the anthem?
I mean, honestly, when my rookie year coming in, I knelt during one of my, I think it was my third or second NFL game. And, after that, there was a lot of backlash, and, we ended up having to stand. We knelt before the game and then had to stand after. And it's a touchy subject, but like I said before, now where the world is shifting in the climate of social injustice and race and all these things, a plethora of things that are going on, I think people are taking the time to understand what the meaning of kneeling during that time is. I don't think it's not to disrespect the flag, but it's to stand up for what you believe in as far as the social injustices that are going on, like I said, and the fight for equality when it comes to race. And it's a touchy subject, but I'm happy that a lot of people, there's a lot more attention being drawn to it, and a lot of people understanding and taking the time to understand what's going on.
I know you got to hustle, so I'll ask you one more. What would your message be to any of your peers who might have had some reservations about going to a NASCAR race based on what you've experienced and the people there and whatnot? What would that message be?
Obviously, we're in Corona protocol right now, so I'm not even getting the full experience, but I'm enjoying it. Like just being here and seeing what it takes, like what goes into like putting on this whole event, and like the stress and the skill on the drivers, and it's so much. Like the atmosphere is crazy, so I can't even imagine it being just full out 160,000 people here, and everything 100 miles per hour full go. Like me personally, I would say come. If you have an opportunity to come because it's a different experience. I can honestly say I've never experienced something like this, and it's not even open. It's not even 10,000 people here probably, or 20,000 people here, but it's still a great environment.
What conversations have you had with your quarterback, Drew Brees, over the past couple of weeks?
We've kind of already addressed that. I'm not really going. Yeah.